Great. Just a reminder, I won't be able to check the chat as I'm presenting today. So this is why if you just want to stop and say, Terry, I just have a question, please unmute yourself and do that. I'm going to shut off my camera because we want the focus to be on the presentation today. All right, so here we go. Looking at creating and managing MICIP limited maintenance goals, there was a need for districts to take their assist plan and to include it into MICIP for the 23-24 school year. As you know, based on a memo that came out in February, all plans, and last May actually too, all plans must now be in MICIP. So to help with the continued funding of the assist plans that some of you do, this is the route we've taken to help you with that. You're going to find that it is a very manageable way of getting this goal and strategies and activities into the plan. We're hoping that Nexus is up and running this year, so this will be a huge saver of time. Our learning outcomes today are pretty simple. Basically, we want to understand the difference between the different types of goals, and there will be a few for the next 3 years. The purpose of the limited maintenance goal, which I've briefly described, and then also the steps to creating this. So this is a very hands-on, practical presentation today, and actually how to do that. And I am going to go into MICIP and show you how to do that. So as I had mentioned about the February 2nd memo, that guidance is in there. That's if you want to link, use that link to really read the specifics. But here are the highlights that we want you to know. A limited maintenance goal is only for previous approved assist goals. So that would mean that if you have a new goal, you can't put it in a limited maintenance goal. So that has to be an active goal. But those of you who have the assist goals and want to bring it on, then you would also bring into that assist goal, or excuse me, limited maintenance goals, the strategies attached to that and the activities. There is a window that, and this is a hard date. Everything must be uploaded into the limited maintenance goal into your portfolio by June 30th. So of this year. So on July 1, the opportunity to add limited maintenance will be removed. So you want to make sure that if you are going to do that, get it done before then. And then when looking at these plans or goals that you have in MICIP, they have a limited life. So their shelf life is 3 years. So the day, let's say today you put a limited goal into your plan, that on March 15th, 2026, seems so far away in the future, that is, it'll automatically sunset. It will go away from the maintenance tab into the archive tab. So we're not going to delete it for you. We're just going to move it. So archive is a place where all plans go to be recorded, but can never be changed. Where monitor, we'll talk about this in another slide, but we are going to be putting in some new functions under maintenance goals soon. So there's still some things we want you to consider when thinking about creating this type of goal, right? And looking at your assist goal, ask the question, is it still relevant? We know that districts have for many, many years paid their parapros or their coaches through Title I or Title II. And so, but is the purpose of that coach or parapro, is it still relevant today? So just have a chat about that. Maybe we should change the assist goal and go through the process of making it an active goal. And as you know, that process is assessing needs, creating plans, and then implementation. Maybe it should be just discontinued. Maybe the plan is not relevant, or maybe we can take that idea, again, looking at the examples of parapros or coaches, maybe we can put that in an existing goal already, right? So there's things to think about when creating a limited maintenance goal.
Carrie, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So if we review it and say there's a couple of them we decide to put in as limited maintenance goals, do we just copy and paste from our assist in there, or because it may be tied to funding that we've already received?
You won't tie the funding. That actually comes in with your Con App, which is in Nexus. But the plan itself and the identified strategies and activities, yes. And so I'll go through that, Kim, when we get to that section, because I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So yeah, you don't have to do all your plans. You don't have to do any of your assist plans if you don't want to. It's really totally up to you guys.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And thanks for jumping in and asking questions. It's exactly, we have so few on our call, so I'm glad you did that. Thanks. All right, so here's an understanding goal today, and that is the types of goals in MICIP, right? So as of today, we have 4 types. The first one is one that you're very, very familiar with, which is an active goal. It's the goal that we have just created that we're currently going to monitor for the amount of years that you have set for that goal to achieve it. And so that's an active goal. A maintenance goal is a goal that you had was formerly an active goal that you actually succeeded in evaluating and said, yes, we've achieved that goal, but you want to continue to monitor it because let's say, for example, you have some huge changes that your active goal had made, and you want to make sure that bad habits don't come back, slipping back in. So you just want to keep monitoring it. Maintenance goals perfect for that. The other thing that maintenance goals can be is a continuation of funding of certain elements of your plan. So those are the two main reasons for maintenance. Limited maintenance is a former assist plan, what we've been talking about today. You want to keep the funding going, and so this is the way that that will happen. Maintenance goals as well as active goals are monitored by Nexus. So when you have a maintenance goal in there, your activities and strategies are moved into the Nexus application. From there, then whoever is responsible for building the budget and the actuals around Nexus would go in and do that. So there may be activities or strategies in your maintenance plan that you don't want to fund. That's okay. We wouldn't attach a budget or a cost to that. So just to know, active and maintenance are monitored by Nexus. And the last goal is an archived goal. And an archived goal really has been, it's when a goal has been achieved, an active goal has been achieved, and you don't need to monitor it anymore. You can archive it. It's there as a reference to show that you've achieved that goal. That's great. An archive goal can also be an abandoned goal. So you may want to abandon an active goal or a maintenance goal and say, okay, this is no longer relevant to what we're doing in our district. We just want to archive it. There's a difference between archive a goal and deleting a goal. So with an archive goal, you've got some history that you can show. And as if you came to my earlier session today, we talk about MICIP, really capturing conversations. This allows transition of leadership to really see what has happened in the district before this person came. So archive goals are important. They're only viewed only. You can't manipulate them, change them in any way, but they're really helpful. A delete goal, then, if you come in, if you are interested in deleting a goal, wiping it off the face of the earth, you call me or you set up an email, send an email to me, and we'll arrange a time for me to delete it. You cannot delete goals. You don't have that function right now in MICIP, but we can delete it. But then you've lost that history for maybe that new leader coming in, right? The other piece that we want to know, I want you to know, is it's the bottom sentence. And sometime during the summer of this summer coming up, we are going to be removing the PDFs of your assist plan from your platform. So right now that, and I'll show you when we go into the demo, that we're going to use that space for strategic planning. So we're starting to evolve in that direction. So please note about that. Are there any questions about the types of goals? Anything we want to see clarity on? Okay, so let's go into what it looks like. Okay, here is in the MICIP, we are looking at what we call the navigation bar. And to create a limited maintenance goal, you click on plans, and then you've got this new tab. And that is the where you can create this goal. On July 1st of this year, this will no longer be here. So it will just be the goals and the strategies and not maintenance. Okay, so if you were to create a limited maintenance goal, you would get this modal. This would pop up for you. And you can see here Kim's question about cutting and pasting. This is where you would cut and paste. You would go in, go to your SIS plan, find that goal, grab it, copy it, and just paste it right here. All right. This due date is going to be set for you. It will say today, right, with 3/15/23. But let's say you take a week to do this work. Then it's not going to be 3/15. It'll be a week from now, which is, I think, 3/23/23. So the clock starts when it goes into the portfolio. That's important to know because somebody will say, well, we started working on it in March 15th. Well, yeah, but then you didn't come back to it until May. That's okay. But May 3 years from now will be when the goal is. You will also be asked to drop and drag your previously approved, this is a typo, consolidated application. All right, so that's last year's. You can get that in your Con app. It's not hard to find. And you want to upload it in one funding source. So we know that there are multiple funding sources, but pick the one funding source that's closest to what this limited maintenance goal is trying to fund. Okay, so what does that, why do we ask that? It's because it shows evidence that this is or was an assist goal that you're moving in. Okay, so we want to put it here. Please, we're going to show you exactly what to upload, but what you don't want to do is upload your entire consolidated app into this space. We did not allow for that much of space. So if anyone is from Detroit, for example, we looked up your plans and your consolidated app, and it's 1,100 pages. This will crash and burn the system. Like, trust me, it will. So, so that's why we want to make sure you understand it's one funding source. From there, then you're going to click on the strategies, and here's where we really are going to have some adjustments to do if you are a district who has a strategy in Assist that may not exist in the strategy bank, because as you know, all strategies in MICIP come from the strategy bank. You have a couple of things here to consider. One is, can I find a strategy that closely matches the strategy that we used? Or you can create your own strategy in MICIP if you're a curator, and I have information on that in this presentation, and then add it to the strategy bank. Then you go in, select it, and add it to your MICIP plan. So, and then you're going to be able to add activities here. When we would like you to note that it will require monitoring. So we will be adding that function this summer, actually. Okay, here's the important part. All right, so we talk about one funding source. In your consolidated application, you want to look for your combined budget detail. That's what you want for whatever funding source it is. And in this case, we're looking at Title I, Part A, right? That was this district, that's what they wanted to select. So go in, you click on that, and then you get another window, the one down here, that says download the combined budget detail. So then it's going to be loaded to your desktop, and you just simply drag it into the window here. Or if you want, you can select that file. So in other words, you do the drop down, it downloads it, you save it to a folder, go to the folder, select it through this link here, and then it'll bring it in for you. So you have a couple of different ways. This drop and drag interface is the same process throughout the whole throughout MICIP when adding evidence. So it should feel very familiar. There's nothing to do differently. All right. So combined budget detail. Keep that in your head because that's what you need to put in there. All right. This slide is really these are hyperlinks, and you can see the little change in my cursor. This is a how to add strategies to the strategy bank. It is a step-by-step PowerPoint presentation. Thanks to the MICIP team for providing this. And so you want to know how to do it. This is how to. And then on this side is actually from their webpage. And you'll see here that in order to add strategies, you have to become a curator. And so this first tab here explains the different roles within my strategy bank. So my role is I can view strategies, and I don't think I can create strategies. I'm just a user of that. I'm not a curator. Other people in the department are curators. Here's the how-to documents, very helpful, if you're looking to learn how to do it. And then your account registrations, you do have to apply to be a curator. And so it's not a very hard process. Basically, it's a may I do it, and you get an email back saying you're all set. So that is to help you if you want to add the strategy that was used in your assist plan that doesn't exist in a current strategy in MICIP. All right. So what happens then is you've created that limited maintenance plan, and then you put it into your portfolio. And you see here, those of you who, with the different tabs that are here, our active goals are the ones we're currently focusing on. Our maintenance goals, as I explained, with the types of goals, this is the ones that you're going to continue to watch. And then you'll know that we've changed the colors for limited maintenance so that you can see what is happening. I will tell you that there is a bit of a design flaw in this page. You see that we have statuses located here of either strategies or activities. This will go away because the time it doesn't click on or continue when you enter into maintenance. It's either assumed that you've achieved your strategy, and under activities, you either have achieved that activity or you've chosen not to continue with it. So these will be going away, but this gives you a sense of what it looks like in this strategy bank, or excuse me, in MICIP. I'm going to stop. Is there any questions right now or wonderings that you may have about this? Because we're going to start getting into the demo here in just a moment. Okay, hearing none. All right. So how do you create this report? And so you'll see now that in the reporting page, this is in MICIP, we have now a tab for limited maintenance. So, and here are the limited maintenance goals underneath. So that is a way for you. So you do not have to print your limited maintenance goals. You don't click that box. But if you do, you just click the box and it will show up in your report. I have to notify you that there is a bug that we found in MICIP. It doesn't show up all the time, but these little down arrows, they're technically called chevrons, sometimes are invisible. And so it may look like you have maintenance goals and then you don't know what's underneath. If you slide your cursor from the button here over to the side, you'll see that it will change to a finger, which means it's a hot spot. Just click on it and then all these submenus will appear. So, but like I said, it happens occasionally. It doesn't happen all the time. And that is a bug that's going to be fixed in it's either this release or the next release for MICIP. All right, coming summer of 2023, Just so you know, right now we do not have a monitoring button in under maintenance for maintenance goals, either regular maintenance or limited maintenance, but this is coming. And so that monitoring will it will look the same as the monitoring does in active goals, with a few exceptions. And I'll explain that when we get into the demo. All right, we're going to switch. Does anybody have any questions at the moment? All right, so let's go. We are in the staging area of MICIP. This is the environment that I use to test, make sure all the buttons work. And so you'll see weird little things in here to do that. So let's start at the home page. And you'll see this, it says my dashboard. If I scroll down here, I should have, there's my in progress. That's where I'm working on things and what the status of those are, who owns it and so forth. And then my assist plans. So all of that should be on your home page. All these assist plans are PDFs, so they're not actually integrated into the MICIP platform. You do have to manually enter them. But when looking at, let's just pull this one up. Again, this is all public information, so we're not sharing any secrets from Grand Ledge, and they're wonderful because they allow us to do this. And let's see, did it load properly? Yes, it did. It's right here. Okay. So basically, like as Kim asked, can I cut and paste? Yes. So you go down, go to your plan, and we'll get there in a minute. And we're looking for our goals. So here we go. All right. So we have a goal name here, and then details are below this if you're familiar with the assist plans. So really you just have to cut and paste these. They take them the way they are. They're, MICIP would like you to make SMART goals. There was no requirements here. I think it was highly encouraged, but again, just copy and paste the name. That's okay. The strategies you'll use, you'll see here, like this first one has 2 strategies and 2 activities. Again, just cut and paste, put that into your limited maintenance plan. So coming back here, this is where the assist plans live and how you get to them. So then if I'm going to create a limited plan, I'm going to come into planning, come down to the 3rd tab. And now we refer to this as our landing page. And so and it's really slow to, there we go. Okay. These are all the limited maintenance plans or goals that let's say our district, our pretend district has created. In fact, we have 2 pages. We've done a lot of testing in that. So when you have a plan in your portfolio, it cannot be changed. But you'll see here that we have a plan that's pending. That means it's still under development. So you could still go in, basically just, you can click on that plan and it will take you to where you left off. So here you'll see we've already uploaded, but we haven't added strategies yet. So pending is really, is a nice way to go. But let's go back and just create a new one from scratch. So we're going to add one here. Like I said, it pops up. You're going to go in and you're going to paste the goal name here. It's like I said, it's set. Now you do have a calendar here, and what you cannot go beyond 3 years, but maybe what your district will say is, well, we're just going to want this limited maintenance for 1 year. We don't need it for, so we're going to say that we're going to do it for the end of June. Okay. So at the end of June of 2024, we're going to then move this into, we're going to archive it, and we're going to either start over, ignore it, whatever is the options you've chosen. Here, you can select, and let's go with, this is dummy data that I have. put it in here. It already captures, you'll see it captures the name of the file. And then if for some reason that's not the one you wanted, then you can swap it out using this button. From here, then you add your strategies, and like active goals, the limited maintenance goals goes right into the strategy bank, where you can begin to look for a strategy that maybe is closest to what we're doing. So we're just going to pick our MTSS goal. That's what we used. Strategy we used on our goal here. And then this should look familiar. This is what it looks like in active goals in MICIP. You do want to tag what buildings are associated with this. So we're going to look at just the elementary schools at this point. And then here you add your activities. And it operates the exact same way as it does for an active goal. So you come in here and you are going to give the name to the activity. And that name is based on what it was in your assist plan. Okay, so you can assign that an owner, excuse me, and that could be anyone. Assign it to Mark Bush. And then you have to pick, you want to tag your building. And in this case, we know that in the district that NERF Childhood Center does this already. We're not worried about them. We know that the Delta Center needs to continue to do that. And again, you can start it when you want. You can end it when you want, as long as it doesn't exceed the goal, the strategy due date. And that's why that's here. Remember, we said we wanted this goal to end in a year, so it remembers that. And then we just put it right into our plan. You can edit it as always or delete it. So this is good. You can only edit and delete while it's pending. In other words, you haven't published it into your portfolio yet. Once you put it in your portfolio, it's set. Here is just a reminder for when you do your Khan App about budgeting. So let's say we're going to continue to fund some parapros, and so that's going to cost us. This is going to come from our Title I, maybe some at-risk money, and maybe our general fund. You'll notice that a little bit different from an active goal, there is no communication request. In fact, I don't know if you've noticed yet, but there's quite a few things missing from how we create active goals to how we create limited maintenance goals. So for example, you weren't asked to do and assess needs. So you're not picking interim and end target measures. You didn't have to do a root cause analysis for this. There is no challenge statement. So that is because this is something that has been prior approved for at least a few years now, right? With your assist goals. And we're just allowing you to continue with this for 3 years. This is why it does have a limited life, because at the end of 3 years, if it's still relevant, we want you to go through a complete active goal process of data analysis, looking at root cause, challenge statement, goals, and interim and end target measures, and so forth. So, all right, we're ready. This is it. Everything's filled in. It's a pretty truncated process, and it's going to go right into my portfolio. And I believe we called it new goal. So let's see if we can find it here. Yep, paste goal name. There it is. All right. It has the same sort of functions as before. And like I said, we're going to be, these active buttons will be removed because we don't need to know whether that you're just going to continue with this monitoring and implementing of this goal. So we won't have that here, but what we will have in summer is that monitoring button will be here. So I would just want to quickly show what that monitoring looks like and how it will be different for limited maintenance goals. So let's pick this one. And no, sorry. Let's go to active goals. That's where we have a monitoring button. Okay, so monitoring will take you to the monitoring goal page. So it will have your strategies listed here, which is part of implementation, but you do not have an impact section here. So in other words, you won't have interim and in-target measures to review, nor do you have any ability to adjust. So basically what you're doing is you're saying, okay, we've got this, and by the way, you only have one strategy per limited maintenance. So if a plan had several strategies, let's say in this case it had 6, you need to do a limited maintenance goal 6 times because it's one strategy per limited maintenance. All right, so when you come in here, then we have monitoring notes. This will look very much the same as it does here. It's all about implementation. So we're just going to talk about fidelity, scale and reach, and capacity. And then there will not be any impact notes located at the bottom. So, but creating notes, it's exactly the same, has the text box and then your ability to add evidence. Because at the during the process of, because it's paid by, let's say by federal funds, you still have to do a program evaluation report. So this will help with that. Evidence is always a way to measure how well you're progressing through that goal. So that's what monitoring will look like. Now the report section I talked about. So let's see if we could speed up that process today. There we go. Okay. So here is the way of creating a plan if you wanted to modify it, or if you have some saved reports. So that program evaluation report, which I showed you at the beginning, that's all here. You could see that the chevrons are visible, but if they weren't, if you click on it, you just, it's listed. So easy peasy, generate a report. You just click on the generate a report button, and then your report will come up. Sometimes, by the way, if you get a white space in this section here, it's because sometimes the report will load at the bottom of the screen. So if it doesn't show up and it says update report, just scroll down a little bit, do that. You can then easily save this, give it a name that makes sense, and then just save it to your desktop or whatever folder that you want to save it to. All right, we are, I believe, almost done with, let's see, our presentation. Yes, it is the last slide. Here is the personal support team. Ben and I are basically interchangeable when it comes to process and platforms. So, please, you can email either of us, and we're happy to help. And then Rennie is our administrator for user management. So if you have a new MICIP administrator who needs access to MICIP and does not currently, Rennie's the guy to call. I can do it as well. Ben cannot. Ben doesn't have that function, but I do. So, and speaking of Ben, he's here. Hi, Ben.
Good morning.
Yeah. So, with that, Rennie cannot manage your district users. That is a sole function of the district. Also, I just want to clarify, being a MICIP administrator isn't necessarily the same as a district administrator. A MICIP administrator's sole function is to manage users and to manage the administrative settings. That's it. So it doesn't mean that a building principal has to be a MICIP administrator. What it does mean, though, is that you may have a principal who's a user, but can create plans. You may have a MICIP administrator who can't create plans. It's all based on, it's all based on the permissions that you set for the user. And with that, I am going to stop sharing and take any questions that you may have, or any clarifications, something I missed, or wonderings that you have.
Terry, I actually have a question. It's kind of on topic, but it's more in the report section, the portfolio report.
Yes.
What do you have to click in there in order to be in compliance with posting your like school, you know, as we used to call them, our school improvement plans?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because that was asked at our county level meeting, and I was like, well, this is what I do, but I don't know if that's necessarily correct.
Oh, yeah. No, I think I refer to it as a comprehensive plan report. So, and those are truly the easiest ones to make. So to do that, you come in, you select all, and you'll notice that all the boxes are checked. All right. And then if this is going to be a public facing report, I would advise you probably not to share your data or root cause analysis. You're going to want to keep your strategies in there with your activities. Now, for monitoring, let me show you what that looks like. So of all of this, I'm not sure if I'm going to want to share my committee notes with maybe a board member or something. So I'm going to come in here and click off all of this, except for maybe the interim and end target measures. Maybe that's something we do want to share. And then under evaluation, then I probably want to include my end target measures. And so, and then generate that report. Again, this is the cover page to the one that it was defaulted to, but it will show all your active goals here. It will show all your maintenance goals. In this report, it doesn't distinguish between limited maintenance or maintenance. So if you really, this one does because we put it in the title. So, but it is listed. All the buildings that are associated with any active or maintenance goal, and then the elements that would be in this report. Does that help, Kim?
Yes, yeah, it does.
Yeah, and so if you want to make this like a plan that you're going to use often, that's where you could come in and you can modify it right here. So what will happen is I clicked on modify and then I create a report, and then it just defaults to a certain, I think it defaults to your default settings. Come in, give it a name, you know, give it something unique, click on the boxes you want, and then create it. It will show up on this list. And you can save up to 5 different reports. And that's not district-wide, that's per user who can edit. So if your superintendent wants a school board report, you want a curriculum committee report, maybe we want a program evaluation report, you can, you know, let's say at the end, you've identified 15 reports that you want regularly, then divide those up among 3 people so that you each have 5 of those reports and they can be easily generated and shared. Any questions?
It kind of popped in my head, you know, feedback, David, you guys have asked for it, and maybe you guys have already done it, but I think that would be beneficial. Even like, what do you click in there for the program evaluation report and sharing out? Or like you said, what are the different, when you're looking at the specific things, what pulls in?
Okay, so if you go to the plat, we did that already. If you go to,
I've seen it, but I just thought like we've had questions at our ISD level, like
yes,
with other schools. So
what you want to do in the platform guide, there is under reports, we call them recipes. Basically, what are the ingredients for each report? And so I think we listed a handful of them that were common. So the comprehensive report that I talked about is in there, board reports in there, program evaluation, I think. So, yeah.
No, that's good, because I'll share that with them.
Yes, that's great. Okay. What other questions do we have?
Yeah, I got one for you, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Can you walk through a scenario where where a school district would move from a goal from active to maintenance?
Yep. So an active goal that has been completed successfully, that you want to continue to monitor it because of maybe funding issues that you just want to continue with, or you completed it, but you're not sure if if the mindset has really set into the district. So in other words, you've created a behavior change. Let's say improve writing, for example, and you know, people are follow the plan to fidelity. It reached the targeted population that you wanted and so forth. But you want to make sure that those habits don't start slipping back to old habits, right? So you have the ability then to maintain, so you can look at the data that currently exists in that plan and so forth. So that's an example of moving things into maintenance. If you, the other, I think, confusion about moving goals around is that districts will call and say, I just moved a goal into archive because I didn't know how to delete it. And so that actually may be a reason why somebody moves it out of active, because they just don't know how to delete it. And so deleting goals are done by me. So you just send me an email. It takes 2 minutes and we can delete a goal. But that's another situation where people take active goals and start moving them around. Does that make sense, Christopher?
Yeah, just a short follow-up. We actually have talked and communicated before. I work for myself. I don't work for any districts, and I'm working with a district on the MICIP, and whoever tried it before has a bunch of stuff in there they wanted to get out, and you had said, hey, have the administrators get a hold of